I'm Billy Howard, and I'm from the old school of Florida politics, where Bob Graham taught me, who gave me this tie right here, that the truth matters and that we should try to do the right thing. So let's listen into the robocalling industry trying to convince you that you want more robocalls.
I'm Megan Moon. I'm a business litigator with the Gunster Law Firm in our Jacksonville office. As a business litigator, I'm representing, along with my colleagues, businesses that are being sued under the Florida Telephone Solicitation Act. To save your time, I'll call it the FTSA. So within a month of the 2021 legislation, we started seeing these cases come in the door. Typically, the text messages that are the subject of these lawsuits are the texts that you would expect consumers to receive and want to receive. You've probably signed up for them. I have. Fraud alerts, appointment reminders, coupons, opportunities to get 10% off at your favorite retailer, you name it. These are arguably, under the current definition, computerized automated text messages that you're receiving.
Somewhere it's written that lawyers must tell the truth. So let's listen in to the robocalling lawyer who says that telemarketers are fraud alerts. Do you think a fraud alert is an attempt to sell you anything? That's right, the answer is no. Do you think an appointment reminder is an attempt to sell you consumer goods or services? That's right, the answer is no to that also. So why is a lawyer trying to convince lawmakers that fraud alerts and appointment reminders are covered by Florida's Telemarketing Act? Well, we can't open up somebody's head and figure out exactly why they said something, but we can look at it from a realistic view. Appointment reminders and fraud alerts have nothing to do with telemarketing. So to try to trick Florida lawmakers into changing the law because of this example, let's just say that doesn't seem genuine.
So what has happened with the litigation is that it's had a broader sweep than I think was probably intended. And unfortunately, it's really created a cottage industry of professional plaintiffs and plaintiffs' lawyers who are capitalizing on sort of this uncertainty from the lack of definition of the automated system. In fact, we see plaintiffs that are mom, dad, sister of the lawyer that's involved. Sometimes it's the lawyer itself that is the plaintiff or someone from their staff. And these are repeat offenders. We see the same law firms, the same plaintiffs, 10 to 15 FTSA cases, and they're doing this, all the time. That the windfall comes from the statute's vagueness that was mentioned here. There's no definition of automated system. I understand that's going to be defined as automatic telephone dialing system. And so really what that does is, if you've been to court, you understand if there's gray area, then there's lawyers. And so the plaintiff's bar has made the argument in many of these cases, there's hundreds of them out there. I get a litigation filing personally for text message cases or FTSA, and I see 1 to 5 a day. Certainly I'm not representing all those businesses, but it's 1 to 5 a day that's being sued here. So the plaintiff's bar is arguing that because these text messages that I described previously, coupons, fraud alerts, appointments, are sent, from a system where they're storing these consumers' numbers, even if they signed up, those arguably, according to the plaintiff's bar, fall under the definition of an automated system.
Now we have 2 examples of text messages that we actually do not want. Coupons! We all want those, right? Hell no. That's a great example, robocalling industry lawyer, of what we do not want. We do not want random companies sending us their coupons. What's the next example? 10% off our favorite retailer. Yeah, if it's my favorite retailer, I will tell them, hey, go ahead and send me a text message. I do want 10% off. I actually just did that at Psycho Bunny. I got 10% off. Those guys are expensive, but they're awesome. And I want 10% off.
And so these businesses are unfortunately getting captured in this. It's costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars, even sometimes millions, either paying lawyers to defend them or frankly settling out.
So now we get to how much do lawyers who defend robocallers charge? They just said they charge millions of dollars, millions, to defend what? Your company either sent a text message trying to sell something without consent, or they did not. I mean, you can try to convince them to pay you millions of dollars and file a bunch of bogus motions and get crushed by the court, because that's happened and there's proof of that in court filings. Or you can settle outright. Well, sounds like you're settling outright because you broke the law. And guess what? That's what you should do. And when you settle outright, then other companies that are following the law realize, hey, maybe I ought to do it right. Maybe I ought to actually get written permission before I send a telemarketing call or text, because that's what the law says in Florida. And we're doing a great job in Florida, and the only people who want to increase robocalls are, you guessed it, the robocallers. No, thank you.
Right? We've had a couple of clients and that have had no choice but to settle because a judgment under the FTSA, the type that it affords, it's $500 to $1,500 per text message. Am I shouting at you?
If you could bring it in for a landing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So we're seeing these folks either have to settle or go bankrupt under these. So importantly, I'll close with not a single one of the cases I've litigated. Many of them are robocalls or spam. They're legitimate businesses who sent these messages to their consumers who asked for them, and they just may have not got the right type of consent, or they find a loophole or a reassigned number or something along those lines.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up in the robo wars going on in Tallahassee is a committee at 1 o'clock on Monday. I will be there, and it's all about Senator Yarborough at this point. A nice senator. He met with us, and you know what? I'm wearing my Bob Graham tie today. He reminded me a little bit of Bob Graham, who is a super fair guy. Bob Graham taught me we're supposed to vote for what's right, not along party lines. A long time ago, he taught that to me, and it's made sense to me every day. Call Senator Yarborough and tell him, please do not make any changes to Florida's Telemarketing Act that would allow more robocalls, because that's what they are trying to convince him of. He's a reasonable guy. He will listen. Thank you.